Okay, so let's start with IO stream today. Now, so first we have to understand what is a stream basically. Now, a Java implements a stream within the class hierarchy defined in the IO packages. Like all the stream, whatever the Java implement within the class hierarchies exists in the IO package. The stream is like an ordered sequence of the data. Like it is a sequence of the data in ordered way whenever it is being transmitted. A stream is a link to the physical devices by the Java IO system. This means is like whenever suppose you have a keyboard, you are typing something. So that is like it is connected. This is whatever the buttons you will click, the characters would be like a stream. All the stream behave in the same manner, even if the actual physical device to which they are linked differ. Like see, we have multiple physical device. It could be you are reading from the keyboard, you are reading from the hard disk, you are reading from a CD drive. There are multiple sources, right? But hardware or the physical device may be differed, but the basic stream, the manner, the behavior of the stream will never change. And IO stream represent an input source such as keyboard, hard disk, CD, and output destinations could be file, your again an hard disk where you can save your files. It could be monitor. We'll discuss something more on the IO stream. And stream can represent many different kind of sources and destinations such as disk file, devices, other program, a network socket, and a memory arrays. Stream support many different kind of data, simple bytes, primitive data types, localized characters, and objects. Some streams simply pass on the data, others manipulate and transform the data in useful ways. So we'll see like what is an input stream basically. A program uses an input stream to read the data from one source, one at a time. Suppose in this diagram, if you can see, you have your CPU or monitor or some documentations, like these are the behavior as a data source to you. Your keyboard is a data source, your hard disk is a data source. If you put some CDs, your pen drive is a data source. And whatever the information you read on your monitor or through a program, that is called as an input stream. So the data is actually being passed from your keyboard to the monitor. This is the example of the input stream. Here how the monitor is getting the data from the keyboard. Just the opposite is the output stream. For example, and program uses an output stream to write the data to the destination one at a time. Suppose you're writing some program in a file system itself and you're creating a file, or you're just copying a content from the keyboard to a file you're saving. In this case, you're writing some to the destination into the hard disk, and that is called as an output stream. Java defines two different types of stream. One is a byte stream, one is a character stream. This is a minute difference actually. Now, whenever I call as a byte stream, it is a convenient means for handling input and output. In the terms of byte, is every data would be considered as a chunks of byte. Means suppose you have a bigger data itself, no matter, every information will be transmitted in the form of the bytes itself. Bytes are useful or used, for example, when reading or writing from the binary data. Now again, suppose you have a data of like 64 bits. So obviously it should be transferred into it will form 8 small groups as a byte. That is because 64 we have, so like 8 bytes are there. So the data will be transmitted in the form of bytes by bytes. Now the next is a character stream. It provides a convenient mean for handling an input and output of the characters. Here the data would be transferred in the terms of character at a time. In some means In some cases also, the character streams are more efficient than byte stream. Now the program uses the byte stream to perform input and output of 8-bit bytes. I already said, suppose I have a data of 64 bits, the data would be transferred in the stream in a size of 8-bit bytes. Byte streams are defined using two class hierarchies. At the top, there are two abstract classes called as input stream and output stream. So they are the two major abstract classes that we have to look inside. Input stream and output stream. The abstract classes input stream and output stream define several key methods than the other stream classes implement. So most of the key methods are already defined in the abstract classes input stream and the output stream. One of the two important methods are read and write, which read and write the bytes of data respectively. The read is used for reading a byte of the data. At the same time, the write is used to write the bytes of data. Both methods are declared as abstract inside input stream and output stream. So they are abstract in the input and output. Any class that will inherit it further or will give the body or the implementation, it has its own implementation, how to do with the read and write. Now one thing you should be very careful. Closing the stream when it is no longer is very important. It is so important. We have already seen in the previous example. Dot close itself clear the buffer. That is the same thing we have to discuss. It is so important that we have used the finally block to guarantee that both streams will be closed even if an error occurs. This practice avoids some serious resource leaks. When we call the close, it clears the buffer by performing the write operation to the destination and then close the stream. That is much aware. That is the same thing that we call using flush. That's why copybytes make sure that each stream variable contains an object reference before invoking close. Come to the binary IO classes. Now if you go with this diagram, at the top hierarchy we have the object class. And within the object we have in the IO we have input stream and the output stream. The input stream has further file input stream, filter input stream and object input stream, where the filter input stream has further data input stream and the buffered input stream. Input stream has basically file input stream, filter input stream and object input stream. Filter input stream has further data input stream and buffered input stream. Come to the output stream. Three classes: file output stream, filter output stream and object output stream. And then filter output stream have further data output stream and buffered output stream. They are like filter output stream is a child to the output stream. In this way you have to read this particular diagram. They are extending the input stream basically. Now if you consider the syllabus requirement, we have file input stream and object input stream from input stream as a syllabus. At the same time, from output stream we have only file output stream and object output stream in a syllabus. Now these are the standard, like what are the classes and what is the meaning, whatever we have seen in the previous. Buffered input stream and buffered output stream generally handles the buffered input stream and the buffered output stream. Data input stream contains the method for reading and Java standard data types. Data output stream contains the method for writing the Java standard data types. File input stream and the file output stream. They are the input and output stream that reads from a file or writes to the file. I'm repeating again. This is the part of the syllabus we have. That's why I'm putting some stress. File input stream and the file output stream. File input stream is an input stream that has basic purpose to read from a file. At the same time, file output stream that writes to a file. Input stream, abstract class that describes the input stream. Output stream, it is an abstract class that describes the stream output. We have a print stream, output stream that contains print and the println method. Then we have piped input stream and we have piped input stream for input pipes and pipe output stream for output pipe. Now for the syllabus we have file input stream, file output stream, object input stream and object output stream. Come to some of the method that has been defined in the input stream. They are abstract here. Int available, it returns the number of bytes of input currently available for reading. Okay, whatever the bytes that are available for reading, available method will return. The close the input source, further read attempts will generate the IO exception. Void mark, place a mark at the current bytes in the input stream that will remain valid until the num bytes are readed. So means you put up a marker here, and from here whatever the size of the information you want to read, you will pass as a parameter. So up to that means, let's suppose you have passed like 4 bytes, until the 4 byte of the information has not been read from the marker, this marker will remain as it is. Boolean mark supported returns true if mark or reset are supported by the invoking stream. See, then we have the sorry. Now we have int read. Read has 3 different types. One is like without any parameter. Second is a parameter as a byte array. The third is with a byte array, something as an offset and the num of bytes. So I will like describe what is the difference in all the 3. So the first is just without any parameter means returns an integer representation of the next available byte of the input. -1 is returned when the end of the file is encountered. Means it keeps returning the integer representation of the next available byte of the input. Now even you can pass attempts to the read of the buffer length bytes into the buffer and returns the actual number of bytes that were successfully read. Means you can pass an array, byte array, and that could be itself written. Now how many times that attempt would be done? Until to the length of that array. It says attempts to read up to buffer.length bytes, means whatever the length of that buffer array, that many times the read attempt will be done. The third is like you can pass an array and offset, and from there how many bytes you want to read. Suppose you have an array and in this you want from a particular spot from for like 4th index or 5th index, and then that many number of bytes you want to read from there. The -1 is returned when the end of the file is encountered. This reset method resets the input pointer to the previously set mark, and escape, it ignores the number of bytes of the input, returning the number of bytes actually ignored. Suppose you can pass like 4. That many bytes of the information could be ignored. Some of the method that has been described in the output stream. Close, it closes the output stream. Further write attempts will generate an IO exception. The next is a void flush. Finalize the output state so that any buffers are cleared, and that is it flushes the output buffers. You see whatever the buffer, it will clear that buffer and the data will be transferred to the destination. Void write int b. Write a single byte to an output stream. Note that the parameter is an int which allows you to call write with expression without having to cast them back to the byte. Instead of writing a byte, but still you can pass as integer, it will still work. You can even pass a byte array, and the same way in the write you can pass a byte array, offset and the num of the bytes. Like you will pass a byte array and offset from where you want to start, and from there what is that will behave the beginning, and from there how many number of bytes you want to write. Come to the file input stream and the file output stream. The file input stream and the file output stream are stream classes which creates the byte stream linked to the files. So there are multiple ways In the input stream, you can pass this file name directly. You can pass a file object. In the output string, similarly, you can pass the string file name as a string or the file object here. Now we'll see how to read and writing into a file. To read from a file, we can use the read method that is defined within the file input stream. Each time the read is called, it reads a single byte from a file and returns the byte as an integer value. I'm repeating again. Each time read is called, it reads a single byte from the file and returns the byte as an integer value only. To write a file, we can use the write method defined by the file output stream. Whatever the value, whatever the byte you want, you can pass as an integer. So we'll see a program. Some of the programs in this particular area. We'll take a very simple program first and see. Okay, so I will take a first program as a okay. So the first program that basically try to read from a given file text.txt. So I'm passing a string as a here. So this will consider as a file name, file string, and this from this file text.txt, it will read the data. I will mark int I equal to 0 this moment because see the read method will return the integer. Basically you have already seen here. You can want I will get it back and we'll go it once. Each time the read is called, it reads single byte from a file and returns the byte as an integer value. You can see here, each time the read is called, it reads a single byte from the file and returns the byte as an integer value. So that is the same thing. I equal to 0 while I is equal to fin is the object of the file input stream dot read, and not is equal to -1 because the -1 marks the end of the file. It will convert to the character because it returns an integer. You want to typecast to the character and you want to print. So the output will be printed into the console here. So let me go to the text.txt and see whatever is present here. I have ABC, Hello, Java and Android. So I will just from here within this file text.txt, I want to transfer that information to the console. Let me execute this code. See, it is present in the terminal now. ABC, Hello, Java and Android means you are reading from a file. Even you can take a information from the file object. Last time we have seen as a string, this time I am trying with a file object. So I have created a file object fi that has the information text.txt only. I pass the fi object here and then read. See that whenever I will call the read it one time only, means one first byte will be read. Only one byte will be taken care. So this means within this file text.txt only. See, you can see here the file is a text.txt. I will mark as a what should be like Java. I will save this file for your information. I will open this file once so that it should be okay. We have a text.txt. It says Java. Now I will try to execute, see what happens here. Only the first byte of the information would be, because you're just calling read it one time. Suppose I call it twice, what will happen? Int j is equal to now. So I'm reading I for the first time and then j. Fine. Hopefully this example is clear. We'll try with the next thing, output stream. Now, so we'll delete all these files here so that you should have the clarity, because it is an output stream. It will create a file and then store the data. So first we will try. This is the file output stream fout object, and the file name is testoutp.txt. I am passing as a string. The string is a welcome to Java. Now by default you are aware you can pass a byte array. So this get bytes convert the string into the byte array and will store into the B. Then fout.write B, close is important, you are closing the string, and then you will print success here. Is it okay? So we'll execute. Currently I did not have the test.pt.txt here. Go back and see. I have a test.php and it says welcome to Java. So what you do basically, you have converted to the byte array. You can even declare your own byte array like 65, 85, 95, or make it 65 for easiness, 66 and 67. And create your own byte array and then you can call write. So what will happen here? See, the file name is the testout.txt, not test.p. The previous one is the test.p. It is testout only. See, ABC. That is the output. Even you can pass a single data, is not an issue. 65. It should be in a byte only. So let me write what will happen in this case. Test out will have now only A. Now the question is, how can you copy a data from one file to another file using file input stream and file output stream? This is pretty simple. It is actually. I will take two file stream objects fin and fout and I within the try block. What I did is I have assigned two files. One is in.txt that will consider as the input to me, and fout like out.txt that behave as the output. So means you are reading from in.txt and then you are copying the data to the out.txt. So let me create an in.txt file. Just write whatever the information you want. Welcome to Java. Welcome to any information you can write, is not an issue. So you have written in the in.txt, that is the input, and you want that same thing into the out.txt. So idea is the same thing. From f.in object, I will read the data one at a time, and with the help of the f.out object, that is the output stream, I will write the data. And then within the finally, I will just close both of the streams. Program is pretty simple here. Like we are again, I'm describing file input stream and the output stream. I'm assigning two files in.txt and out.txt. N will be used with the file input stream to read the data, and the output stream out.txt will be used to store the data. Means you're copying from content from one file to another file. If n.read, it will keep reading one byte at a time until it not encounters -1, that marks the end of the file, and whatever has been read will be used as a write with the write method from the file output stream. It is done. So we'll go and see whether the out.txt is now present. It has the same information. Welcome to Java, welcome to Android. This is out, you can see here, and then this is the in that we have written our own self. Fine. So we'll pause here. The next topic would be object input and output stream. Then we'll see in the next video. Thank you.